Telepathy. Telepathy, the ability to communicate mentally without the use of physical communication, has long been a subject of fascination and speculation. While some people believe that telepathy is a real phenomenon, others remain skeptical and consider it to be a form of pseudoscience. Governments around the world have conducted research into telepathy and its potential applications. This video will provide an overview of government research on telepathy, including a history of government studies, their findings, and the implications for the general audience. Telepathy is the purported ability to transfer thoughts and feelings between individuals without the use of physical means. There are a variety of theories as to how telepathy works, including quantum entanglement theory and other forms of energy transference. While more research needs to be done in order to better understand this phenomenon, it is certainly an intriguing topic that deserves further exploration. Government studies into telepathy date back as far as the 1920s, when various national governments conducted experiments into the possibility of telepathy. In the early studies into telepathy, governments found that there was a lack of concrete evidence to suggest that telepathy was a real phenomenon. However, some governments theorized that with further research, it might be possible to gain a better understanding of the phenomenon and its potential applications. American research on telepathy goes back to at least the late 1950s. In April 1960, during a speech given to a group of esteemed Soviet scientists, the physiologist Leonid L. Vasilyev, known as the father of Soviet parapsychology, mentioned that the United States Navy was currently conducting experiments involving telepathy on their nuclear submarines. Vasilyev had been commissioned by Joseph Stalin to research telepathy in 1923. Project Stargate was a research program funded by the United States government in the 1970s and 1980s that was designed to investigate the potential use of psychic abilities, such as telepathy, in military and intelligence operations. The project was run by the Defense Intelligence Agency, DIA, and involved a range of studies and experiments, including the use of hypnosis and drugs to try to enhance psychic abilities. Some of the notable individuals involved in the project included remote viewing pioneer Ingo Swann and CIA officer Gerald Oster. The project also included a number of well-known psychic practitioners, including Uri Geller and Pat Price. The results of the Stargate project were mixed and often disputed. Some researchers and participants claimed that the project had produced promising results, while others argued that the results were not statistically significant and could not be reliably replicated. Despite this debate, the project gained a significant amount of attention and was the subject of numerous articles and books. The Stargate project was eventually terminated in the 1990s, but some of the ideas and techniques developed during the program continue to be studied and debated by researchers in the field of parapsychology. Russian research on telepathy has been conducted since at least 1923. The reported results of this research have been largely inconclusive. However, there are some areas in which Russian scientists have made significant progress. In particular, they have studied the possibility of using telepathy to communicate with animals and even plants. Other experiments involved attempting to use telepathy as a form of remote sensing or remote viewing to gain insight into distant events or locations. While these experiments did not always yield positive results, they raised interesting questions that still remain unanswered today about the potential power of human thought energy and its capacity to influence physical reality. In 1970, a renowned book about psychic research in the Soviet Union was released. Entitled Psychic Discoveries Behind the Iron Curtain, it was written by Sheila Ostrander and Lynn Schroeder, two Western journalists who traveled extensively throughout the USSR and spoke with various scientists working on groundbreaking research in the field of parapsychology. Furthermore, Russian researchers also explored whether it was possible for individuals to shape their own realities through mental concentration techniques such as meditation or hypnosis, a concept known as psychokinesis, PARC. Although much remains unknown about these phenomena, Russia's commitment to exploring them continues to make an important contribution to our understanding of how consciousness works and what possibilities may exist beyond our current scientific knowledge. More recently, other governments have reportedly conducted research into telepathy and related phenomena. The problem with learning about it is that all of this information is classified and rarely released to the public. Any government finding beneficial results on telepathy would be loath to share it. If they find nothing, they wouldn't want the ridicule of having researched it in the first place. So, questions about this from the public are met with silence. Telepathy research and use by governments isn't really a conspiracy. It is simply classified. And there are a lot of reasons why that makes sense. Overall, the research into telepathy and related phenomena has produced a range of results, with some studies suggesting the existence of psychic abilities and others finding no evidence to support such claims. While the possibility of telepathy remains a subject of debate, it is clear that governments around the world have taken an interest in this intriguing and mysterious phenomenon. In the early studies into telepathy, governments found that there was a lack of concrete evidence to suggest that telepathy was a real phenomenon. However, some governments theorized that with further research, it might be possible to gain a better understanding of the phenomenon and its potential applications. Recent studies by governments have revealed more promising results, with some suggesting that telepathy could be used for various applications such as espionage, intelligence gathering, and communication over large distances. In conclusion, government research on telepathy has occurred, and this is public knowledge. We are limited on what we know based on the classified and sensitive nature of the research. What has been revealed is that there is still a lack of evidence to suggest that it is a real phenomenon. Further research is needed to better understand its potential applications. Such knowledge could have far-reaching implications for national security and intelligence gathering techniques. Therefore, it is likely that governments around the world to continue investigating this phenomenon in order to gain a better understanding of its potential uses and also keep their findings secret.